Security Council Resolution 2334 calls on Israel to immediately and completely cease all settlement activity in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, and to fully respect all of its legal obligations in this regard. Settlement activity has nevertheless continued at high levels. During the reporting period, Israeli planning authorities advanced and approved over 6,000 units in the occupied West Bank, including approximately 3,160 housing units in the Area C and 2,850 housing units in East Jerusalem. Demolitions and seizures of Palestinian-owned structures also accelerated, citing the lack of Israeli-issued building permits, which are almost impossible for Palestinians to obtain. Israeli authorities demolished, seized or forced people to demolish 429 structures in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, displacing 575 persons, including 290 children and 150 women. 28 of these structures were donor-funded. Evictions of Palestinians from their homes in occupied East Jerusalem also continued. On 4th January, the Israeli police forcibly evicted 2 Palestinian families from their apartments in Baton al-Haba area of Silvan in the occupied East Jerusalem, displacing 8 people. The Security Council, in its Resolution 2334, calls upon both parties to refrain from provocative actions, incitement, and inflammatory rhetoric. Unfortunately, such acts continued. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad continued to praise terror attacks and to call for additional violence against the Israelis. A senior Fatah official called Israel neo-Nazis, while another said Israel is doomed to perish. Israeli ministers and members of the Knesset continued to call for the reestablishment of settlements in Gaza, the annexation of the West Bank, and the immigration of Palestinians from OPT, and for the continuing to kill the idea of Palestinian state. Thank you very much.
Today, Phase 1 of the comprehensive plan is largely complete. Despite challenges, the ceasefire has held, all hostages have been released and returned to their families, initial humanitarian aid has been restored and scaled up alongside commercial goods. We should not take this for granted. The National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, ably led by Dr. Ali Shah, has been constituted. 15 Palestinian technocrats, approved by consensus among Palestinian factions, now form the incoming Transitional Civilian Authority for Gaza. Commissioners have been appointed across critical portfolios: social protection, health, education, infrastructure, and security. The National Committee is currently preparing to enter Gaza, and my office is supporting them in this process. Perhaps the most significant development since November is one that by its nature has received the least public attention. My office, together with the guarantor states, the United States, Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar, has developed a comprehensive framework for the decommissioning and reintegration of armed groups in Gaza. This framework is agreed by all guarantors and has been formally presented to all relevant parties. Serious discussions are underway as we speak. The comprehensive plan agreed by the parties establishes the principle of one authority, one law, and one weapon. That principle applies to all armed actors in the Gaza Strip without exception. It requires the complete decommissioning of weapons in the Gaza Strip and putting them under the control of the Transitional Palestinian Authority. I say this directly to those in Israel and elsewhere who argue that military control is the only option. The evidence of the last 20 years says the opposite. Verified decommissioning and accountable Palestinian governance does not trade away security. It can achieve what military action alone has not, provided it is given the space and the support to succeed. That is the choice before the parties. And that is the choice before this council too. A renewed war or a new beginning. The status quo or a better future. There is no third option.
I would like to remind everyone in this chamber that the American people care for stability and prosperity in Gaza and in the West Bank as well. President Trump has been clear. The United States is opposed to annexation of the West Bank, period.
Israel must abandon its plans to annex over half of Gaza and over half of the West Bank and to displace the Palestinian population. The Gaza Strip and the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, constitute a single territorial unit. It is Palestinian land. It is not for sale. It is not for grabs by anyone. It is ours.
Israel fully supports President Trump's 20-point peace plan and Security Council Resolution 2803, and we continue to meet our obligations under Phase 2. But that process cannot move forward while Hamas remains armed. And let me be clear, the fact that we are acting forcefully against Iran and Hezbollah does not mean we are any less focused on Gaza. It is the opposite. In Gaza, we are confronting the same radical extremist ideology.
This illegal settlement policy and Israeli settlers' continuous and escalating attacks against the Palestinian civilian population, as well as the violence against Palestinian communities, including the recent killing of Palestinian children by Israeli forces, are unacceptable and must be brought to an immediate end, and we call for those responsible to be held to account.